Hey folks, it's Digital Robin here with another live Linux walkthrough. Today we are going to be looking at the latest Manjaro release, which is 20.2, just announced a few days ago. So we have got in this release, well, quite a big one actually for the GNOME users out there. GNOME has been upgraded to 3.38.2. On KDE Plasma, you now get the latest edition of Plasma, which is 5.20.4, and on the XFCE desktop, no real changes there. You still get the current 4.14 release there, but there has been a few minor tweaks in the back end to obviously fix a few bugs here or there. So today we are going to be looking at the KDE edition, which is running 5.20.4 on the Plasma desktop. So we have in this release an update to PAMAC, which is now running at 9.5.12. And the good news for this one, the Linux kernel has been upgraded to 5.9. And we're running on Linux version 5.4 here as well. So we'll take a look at that in just a moment. So here we are on the KDE Plasma desktop. This wallpaper here, by the way, is one I've downloaded from the Manjaro Twitter page here today. So just for the purpose of this demonstration, we have used this as our desktop wallpaper. So this is not the default wallpaper, but we'll see that in a few moments once we've done our installation. So here we are booted up into the live ISO. I'm told that we've got an update to the Calemares installer for this release here. So we are going to be taking a look at that now by clicking on Install Manjaro Linux. And what I'm going to be doing here today is wiping clean a current install of Linux on one of my spare hard disks here in my production desktop machine. So we'll see how well the Calemares installer deals with this. So looking at the timing, we have started this at 12:42 here today, so let's see how many minutes this takes to install. So here we are in Calemares. We are now running 3.4.34-1. That is of course the Manjaro Linux build for 20.2 Nibia. That's the latest edition there. So let's now select our language. So we are going to scroll up the list, or down even. I should be able to find British English here somewhere. That's interesting. Where are you? There we go. British English United Kingdom. Don't know why that didn't appear kind of toppish to the list there. We're going to go next now and select our locale. So we are based in London, and we're English UK for our keyboard. And what I'm going to do now is select from the hard disk list here my Kingston hard drive here. And you can currently see that I've got Debian 10 installed here, which I am about to wipe clear. So I'm going to now erase the disk. And we're not using a laptop for this one here, so I'm not going to include any swap. So you can see what it will do now is wipe my Debian clean and give me just two partitions, one for the EFI system at 300 megabytes, and then the remainder of the drive will be used for the Manjaro installation. Now let's click next, and I'm just going to enter in my details. And I'm not going to choose an administrator password for this one, so I'm going to say use the same password for the administrator account. And here now we get the choice of which Office suite we want to install. So I'm going to take a look at, well, none of these in fact, so we're going to see what we get out of the box for this one here. Although I have to select no Office suite. So again, you just get a summary of what's going to happen. It's going to wipe the partition clean and install the Manjaro installation over the top of it. We're about to install it. Checking the time now, 12:42, so we're 2 minutes in. So we're going to start the clock right now. And depending on your hardware and of course what type of hard disks you've got, hopefully this should only take about roughly 2 to 4 minutes to install. Okay, so that took as little as no time at all to install. So here we are at 12:48 now, and the installation is now complete. So we are just going to pause the video now. We'll do a small reboot, and we'll be back in a moment with the fresh installation. Okay, so here we are now logged into the desktop, having just installed the latest release here, and we are logged in now as myself. So you can see we've got the default wallpaper loaded up here, so this is how it looks when you log in for the very first time. I'm running dual screen here, so the welcome screen has decided to load itself up onto my secondary screen, so let me just bring this up here. So when you get logged in for the first time, this should be what you are greeted with, so welcome to Manjaro. This is Nibia 20.2, very small text there, you can barely read, but there we go. So let's just take a look at the release information now, and we can see here that mostly in this 20.2 update, the big update has been to the GNOME desktop users. But here on KDE, this one is going to provide us now with the powerful, mature and feature-rich Plasma 5.20 desktop environment with a unique look and feel. And this new release features Wayland improvements, grid-like system tray, new power saving options, I'm going to take a look at those in a moment, and improved settings center, touch support in Dolphin file manager, of course, and much more, with a wide selection of the latest KDE apps as well, running KDE 20.08 and other applications as well. Manjaro-KDE aims to be a versatile and elegant environment ready for all your everyday needs. So the first impressions I would say from this release is I'm liking the fact that we are now on the latest version of the Plasma build. Already I can see that we've got some updates waiting for us to install here. So it says one new update, so just click once into here and that should load up the update manager, which it does, and straight away you can see there is an update to the Thunderbird mail client, so we'll do that in just a moment. But what have we got in terms of updates to the actual installation? So for this one, I am going to load up the Yakuake, if that's how it's pronounced. I don't know. And see if we've got any updates. So for this one, I'm just going to run the standard sudo pacman dash capital SYU, and let's see what updates we've got after we enter in our super secret safe password. We've got one update to the Thunderbird mail client. So doing it this way is exactly the same way as I would be doing it through the package updater there. So I'm going to say yes to that. So the Thunderbird mail client now coming through on version 78. Excellent. Let's do a quick refresh of those packages. So sudo pacman -syy. Just a few minor updates there, so that's not too much to worry about. And we're not being prompted for any further updates as well in the taskbar here. So let's just now see what we got down here. So by default, you've got now some of the icons have moved around here. So you show desktop is now to the left. To the right of that, you've got waste bin. So the good thing about this one is when you put something into obviously your waste basket, then this icon here changes to red. Some users like to have the recycle bin or waste basket bin on their desktop as an icon. You can still do that, but just to say that by default it comes through now as a taskbar icon here. We've got the Manjaro settings manager, so we should just click once into that one and see what loads up here. Our system's now up to date because I've just run that Pacman update. Of course, I've got my simple screen recorder open at the moment recording this demonstration. We've got the clipboard contents as well. We've got the volume, so click into here. I've got all of my default devices loaded up here, which is fantastic. So I'm recording and playing back through the analog output here. I've got my Bluetooth and I've got my recent removable devices here. So you can see I've got mounted at the moment one USB device here. And then I've got my microphone, which is currently recording this video as we speak. And alongside that, my Wi-Fi and my connected network connections here. And then of course we've got the clock, which now in the latest version of Plasma loads up sort of Windows 10ish style with the clock and the date just beneath that one there. So the first thing that is really bugging me is the size of the panel. So let me just take a look as we go into edit panel. So here now you've got the option to, rather than kind of drag it up and down, you've got the option now to press the plus and the minus to make it larger or smaller. So I'm just going to make it just a wee bit smaller by bringing it down to about 36. So it's going in increments of 2 here, but it's not doing a nice 2 for my liking. I don't know what it's doing there. It's doing odds rather than evens, but there we go. So we'll leave it at 35 for now, because I still like to keep the time and the date together there. So that's good. So let's just take a look at the panel and just quickly see if we can add in more widgets there. So if we go add widget, and I'm just going to bring through now the weather applet. Always love my weather, if I can spell it correctly here. Whoops, done it again. There we go, weather report. So just drag that into the taskbar. And you can see now that that has loaded and it's got a question mark against it. So if I go to right click and then configure, I can then choose my locale under BBC weather and search for my area. Oh, nothing is found. So there's a possibility that the API is broke on that one there. So let's have a look at wetter.com now. And I've got Rochester, England, Great Britain, so we'll do with that one now. So we'll have to take a look into why the BBC API is broke on that one there. Appearance, yeah, we'll just apply those. Appearance, we want the temperature to show in the taskbar, and we'll apply that now. And we want to show Celsius. Apply that. Do I have to apply really every time I change a setting? Never used to get that on the older version. But it looks to be okay now. So I want wind, pressure and humidity showing in my details. Just okay that now. And rather annoyingly, I've not got a temperature showing up here, but it shows when I hover over the icon in the taskbar, my locale, and obviously what the weather is doing currently right now. So if I click and go into configure again, under appearance, yeah, it should be showing the temperature, but it's not doing that. So we'll just give it some time to refresh itself. It could be that there's a problem on the API front there, or it's because I've reduced the size of the panel, but we are yet to see what's going on here. Okay, so let's take a look at what we are getting now out of the box with this latest release on 20.2 KDE Plasma of Manjaro. So we're clicking into the start menu, and of course nothing really changes here. I am told, if we look under the information, if we look at the system information under the info center, I am told, it's loaded up on my secondary screen here, we are now on KDE Plasma 5.20.4, and we are running on Qt version 5.15.2, which is exactly as expected. So rather annoyingly, I've just noticed as well that in terms of my graphics processor, I do have an Nvidia card installed here, but the installer seems to have totally bypassed those drivers, those proprietary drivers, and seems to have put in the Nouveau driver. So I'll have to investigate this one after the recording here and see if that is meant to be, or whether or not I need to manually install those Nvidia drivers. So that's good to know that we're on the latest version of KDE Plasma. Now, there was something about the energy, wasn't there, we were talking about earlier on in the release notes. Energy consumption statistics, so that's good to know. Nothing here at the moment because obviously the system's brand new, but I look forward to seeing some kind of reports here showing my usage actually, and showing the fact that I'm either saving energy or wasting energy, so we'll see what goes on there. Okay, so back to the setup we go now. So let me just close out of this one. And we go into system settings now. And let's take a look at what wallpapers we got. Oh, and rather annoyingly, it's loaded up on my secondary screen. I was just waiting for the delay on that one. I think it thinks my secondary screen is my primary device. Let's take a look at that to get that resolved straight away. So we're going to display and monitor. So we can see here that I've got, this screen is selected as my primary. So I'm not sure why all of the windows are deciding to load on the secondary screen. But we'll find out what's going on with that one there. So if we go into now the, where are we? Oh, it was wallpapers, wasn't it? So we need to go into the desktop settings. So if we do a right click and go into configure desktop wallpaper. So for the previous KDE users amongst us, you would have been used to the fact that the configure desktop wallpaper was the last in the selection of this window here. But now they've moved it to the very, very top, which to me is quite annoying. I'm not entirely sure what their decisions was around that one, but yeah, just to point out that it is now at the top there. But you can still do the keyboard shortcut of Alt and D or Alt and S to configure that there. So if we click into that, we should now be able to see our wallpaper selections. Let's do a maximize on this one here. Well, what new wallpapers do we get with this one? Well, obviously, being the new version of Plasma, we have got the Plasma shell background here. Manjaro's new updated wallpaper is this Breathe 2. But you can see how it's brought through the previous Manjaro wallpapers as well. Let's take a look at what else we've got here. Yeah, so I like this Dutch sunset, so we'll just go with this one and then click apply. And let's just minimize this. Yep, there we go. That's already happened. There we go. Okay, so now let's take a look at some of the themes available to us. So if we go to global theme, you can see now Manjaro's own Breathe 2 theme is there, and of course you've got the option to switch to the Breeze Light and the Breeze Dark with Oxygen there as well. But if you want to choose more global themes, you can do that as usual. Look at this Spectrum one, that looks nice. Shall we give that one a go and see what that looks like? I do like the fact that when you load this up that it shows you everything and the most recent first, so you always get the latest upload showing here in this list. But of course you've got the option to say show me the most downloaded first, and obviously you can see which one is popular or not. So we just downloaded this Spectrum Dark. Let's take a look. So we just select this theme here and click apply. We should see the desktop change to a darkish theme. Yeah, it's given us a slightly transparent panel here. The Manjaro icon has now changed to the standard KDE, but if I just do a right click and go into configure application launcher, with any luck I should be able to switch that back to the Manjaro one just by clicking on the icon and go choose and select other icons, and we just type in Manjaro. That doesn't show up. Okay, so let's have a look at system icons. Yeah, there's the Manjaro one. So we do Manjaro Linux. And we click OK and click apply. You can now see we've got the Manjaro showing here as our start button. Marvelous, good. Okay, so let's stick with this theme for now and see if we get any issues throughout the testing process. I think I'm missing a couple of icons here, so that's probably an issue to do with the light and the dark theming around that one. We'll take a look at the Plasma style, so that's put us into Spectrum Minimal Classic. You've got Spectrum Minimal Classic Dark, so let's just select that one there and see if that makes any difference at all. No, can't really see anything at this stage. Alright, but we'll leave it set as that. Application style as normal. Yeah, that looks good to me. Colors. It's on Gnome Dark. Gnome, like that. There's nothing here in relation to the current theme, so that looks okay to me. You got the option to switch back to Breathe to Dark if you like. Under fonts, yeah, you got the option to change your fonts as usual. Icons, and that is showing Spectrum now, Spectrum folders, but you got the option to switch back to any of the others that you like. So if you prefer to have Breathe, then you can switch to Breathe 2. I'm going to go Breathe 2 Dark, and that should now switch us back to the Manjaro default theme there. Under cursors, you've got Breeze, Breeze Light, and a few others to choose from. I think we'll go with the nice Oxygen Blue. That looks nice. Does that go well with this theme here? Yeah, let's do that. And here's what I like to choose next is Workspace Behavior. So I like to just give my animations just a little bit more of a quickness nudge there. So we do that and we click Apply. Desktop effects. Now, as this is the first installation and we're not doing this through a virtual machine, I should be able to install the wobbly window. There we go. So if you just do that now, wobbly windows, click apply. The next one I like to see is the magic lamp. And we'll apply that one there. And also, I just like to check that the slide is on. So slide back and apply that there. They're just a few of the desktop effects that I like to run on my KDE installations. Blur I just like to check, but that's installed and enabled there by default, so that's good. Screen edges allows you to set some shortcuts when you hover over particular areas of the screen. Even though top left and top center is selected here, there's nothing configured in those areas just yet, so you can obviously configure those if you like. Screen lock-in, so the screen obviously locks by default to 5 minutes. I like to turn that off actually because, well, I just like to have my screen on at all times, but obviously I'm quite a power user here, so I'm always moving my cursor and my mouse around and moving windows around, so it's not going to cause me any screen burn as such. It's only when I step away that I really, well, in fact I actually lock my screen. I don't actually get the system to lock itself. So virtual desktops. Yep, so we've got rows here, that's interesting. So at the moment we can see that we're set as rows, so that enables you to flick between workspace stations. So let's go to desktop 2, you can see it's going in an up rather than a sideways direction. Yep, and you can also control that, I think, from the desktop as well. So let me just try, no, scroll mouse up and down doesn't work where it normally does on some other installs, but if you hover over the workspace, the panel applet here, and you are scrolling up and down on your mouse, you can see that I'm being switched between desktop 1 and desktop 2. And incidentally, this workspace behavior is very good for the single desktop users, but if you're like myself running dual screen, not really too much of an issue. But a lot of people like to have, well, multiple applications open in any given time, and they just like to switch between windows without it affecting their current workspace. So window management, click to focus is there, yeah, that's fine. So let's just have a look now at the, one of these options allows me to change the, here we go, window placement. So I like to do that as centered. And we'll click apply, that's good, that's done. Now, with wobbly windows enabled, you should now see, hey, can you see that? Yeah, but I don't think the wobbliness is very, very smooth. So if I can change that now. We're going to behavior and desktop effects, and we do a search for wobbly. There we go. And you can see we've got the settings option here. I like to give it more wobbliness, so just a little bit more. Yeah, that's fine. Good. That's more like it. You see that now? Yep. Brilliant. This is why I like KDE. It's fantastic. Going back into the other settings now, we can see that we've got startup and shutdown. So here's where you can see what your theming will look like on startup and shutdown. By default, we're using the Breathe 2 theming here that Manjaro have pushed out. But you've got the option, obviously, to go and add more login screens if you like. The auto start, these are the applications, obviously, that will load on startup. So you can see the hello screen is in there. And the drop-down terminal is also being loaded as well. So just by pressing F12, we should get that appear on our screen. So background services, we have got a lot of things running here in the background, but should you find that a few of the services running are causing you some issues performance-wise, then you've got the option to come back in here and disable some of these here. Desktop session, yep, no real problem, no differences to see here. Enter UEFI setup on next restart. Okay, so that probably then takes us straight to when the computer is restarted the next time. It enters the firmware setup screen. Yeah, okay, so that probably takes us straight into the BIOS. And the splash screen, yep, you can change that one. So I'm going to change it back to Breathe 2. That should be great there. Fine. So what are we seeing in terms of any differences here? Well, just a few of the settings have changed. We are just going to do one more check here. So we've got no changes here, and we're still on this NV106. So for that one, I'm going to probably need to install the Nvidia driver for that one there, because if I just do a search for Nvidia, yeah, see, it's not there. So noticing the fact that when I did the original booting of the ISO from the USB key, I did change a few settings to tell it to use the non-free proprietary, which should have brought me straight into Nvidia, but it seems to have wanted to install the Nuvo driver instead there. So I'm just going to open up Firefox now, see what version of Firefox we've got. We should be on version 83, I think. We'll just see here. So we're going to the menu and we're going to Help and About. We're on version 83, which is the latest. So for that one, I'm just going to bring up YouTube. And we are going to do a quick screen tear test. Now, I'm expecting to see some screen tearing on this one here, because we are using the Nuvo driver. So let's take a look at screen tear test. And let's load up this most popular clip here, which I always use for my tests. And we'll just mute that advert there. And the screen test will begin in 1 second from now. There we go. Brilliant. Ah, see, there was a slight tear there. Yeah, I'm getting flickering. I don't know how well you can see that on the recording here. Yeah, there we go. So for this one, I will need to install my Nvidia driver, which I would do after the recording here. So the good news is, if you are an AMD user, you'll have no problems at all with this installation. Nvidia card users, you might have an issue, depending on the age of your card. I've got a slightly older card here, so the driver might not be the correct one that they're using off here. So I need to go off and install, I think they're on version 455 of the Nvidia driver there, so I'll do that after this recording here. So what else we got? So let's now just take a look at the applications available to us. So out of the box, don't forget I did a no Office install. So development wise, you've got the Qt developer apps, games. You got Steam. Steam comes pre-installed out of the box. Marvelous. Graphics. You don't have any GIMP, so you need to download GIMP if you want to do that. Under Internet, you just got your standard Firefox. We've got here an IRC chat conversation. Steam, obviously, is loading this Internet option there. Let me just stop this for a moment because that's flickering away there. And then you've got your Thunderbird mail client. So that you saw that updated earlier on today. So let's just now see if there are any visual differences with this application here. Yes, indeed, there is a slight difference now, so, oh good, we'll take a look at that a bit later on. I'm not really a Thunderbird user myself, but it'd be interesting to see what these new changes look like in this application update today. Apologies, I got the sound of the washing machine in the background here. And under Office, we see we didn't install any Office applications, so I need to install LibreOffice or FreeOffice for that one there if I want to do that. And then the rest is settings. I've not seen this one before, App Image Launcher. Maybe I've missed that one in previous installs of Manjaro, so I'll take a look at that in a while. Oh yes, and here we have the software updater. So, is this the package manager? Let's have a look. Yep, this is the package manager here. Okay, so we're all up to date, but the only other thing I need to do is make it have access to the Arch user repository. So for this one, I go into Preferences, enter in my password, and then I'm going to automatically download updates. I'm going to select that there. Hide tray icon when no update is available. I do like to do that one there. Advanced, check available disk space is on. Official repositories are going worldwide, but I like to choose my locale. So let me just see if there's one for the UK here. In this list there is, so check for the UK. Refresh that mirror list. And that's happily going ahead and doing that. Now on the Arch user repository, you can see this is now disabled obviously by default, so I like to enable that one there. Check for updates. Keep built packages in cache. No, we'll leave that one disabled there. Snap, that's not been enabled, so let's enable that now. And we're going to Flatpak and enable that there as well. Check for updates. And we'll look at the cache. So what this will do now is keep 3 versions of each package up to date in the cache there. And remove only the versions of uninstalled packages. I like to select that one there and click close. You can see now that the package manager has now updated, and if I go to browse, I've got my list of applications available to me here now. So if I think of a Flatpak piece of software that I normally would use, I think it's called Shortwave. Let's have a look. Yep, there we go. So Flatpak is definitely enabled now. So Shortwave is my favourite internet radio client. So if I just click apply, oh, let's go from the Snap Store. Okay. There's no Snap version available on this channel. Okay. Alright, so I'll probably have to do that one via the Git there. There's another one here via the Arch user repository. Okay, so let me just deselect that one there. Sorry, I didn't notice that one. My apologies there. That's better. So this one will go and get it from the actual Arch user repository. So that's downloading. But sometimes it can take a while to actually build that. So we'll just leave that one there running in the background. Hopefully that's okay there. And that's pretty much it for this walkthrough for KDE Plasma 5.20.4 on the latest version of Manjaro 20.2. So I would say that my favourite of all distros of the Manjaro branches is the XFCE desktop version. You do of course have the Budgie and the KDE versions and Mate versions available to you as well via the Manjaro website, but the ones that have been pushed out to 20.2, the latest releases there, are GNOME, KDE and the XFCE desktop there, as you would have seen a bit earlier on today. So that's it from my walkthrough here. I may have missed something, may have done, but I don't know. But I've just done an installation, had a quick walkthrough, and now it's a bit of playtime for me now. If you've got any questions, do by all means put them in the comments fields there, and I'll get to answer those as soon as possible. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and do follow, like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and you'll be notified when we upload our next walkthrough, or go live with a live web stream there, of course. Obviously, you can follow me on Twitter at RobinJust, or head on over to the website at digitalrobin.net, and then you can keep abreast of what's going on in my world over there. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.